is Anna Lefebvre, and I'm with the lovely Paul Chambers. Welcome to Keeping It Real. Happy Monday. We're going to get right into it because we got a lot to talk about and we don't have much time. So we're going to go ahead and start off with I'm irritated. At this point, I'm just freaking irritated. I'm over it. I don't understand if it's a publicity thing, whatever. Joe Budden. I'm over it. We both have podcasts, so we are in this space, so it's relevant to us. It's relevant to the internet. I don't know if you heard this. So allegedly, have you heard about the Olivia dope thing? This only happened a couple hours ago. Okay, so a couple hours ago, there is a DJ who I've never heard of before. I do not know this woman. I do not know anybody over there in that. I just want to make sure that's clear. So allegedly, she was on one of his. She basically worked for him, and she was on one of his podcasts. From my understanding, I just got this information not too long ago, like 30 minutes ago. And basically on air, he was sexually harassing her, allegedly. So she came out with a story that happened earlier this year. Basically, they were doing a live shooting of the podcast. She and her hosts were there. The production team were there because it's a bigger project. You know, you have a crew, cast, everything like that, right? And he was making uncomfortable suggestions to her on air. Some of it is edited out. So she therefore has came out on, it looks like because of the video, I'm going to assume it's like an Instagram story or it is a Snapchat story. I'm going to go with Instagram story because it's story because it's longer or something like that. So that's what it looked like to me. I'm not sure, but it's a video of her allegedly saying all of, the things that happened, right? So, and at one point he said that he has been wanting to F her since they met. So I'm just going to leave it at that. And it's at the 1434 mark of the podcast that they were on. Now, we are initially going to talk about this because of the firing of Rory and is it Mal? Mal. I'm upset that I know all this. Like I'm honestly so tired of this story. I'm so tired of the sexual harassment things. Let's go ahead and just back it up to the firing of Roy and Mal because that happened a couple last week. So I'm going to let you, Paul, back to you, Paul, because I'm going to let you take it away since I don't really know that much about it.
Okay, well, basically, it really started maybe about 2 months ago or so. Joe and Rory had a disagreement over, essentially, they have a percentage-based deal on the podcast. And from my understanding, Rory was wanting to know the accounting of that, the Spotify deal. And from what it seems like Joe wasn't trying to come off of that. Is kind of how it's going. I don't know how accurate this is. It's just, it's kind of he said, she said at this point. But that essentially seems to be what the gist of it. And then Maul was more so just kind of caught in the middle between two friends. And because of the situation, he kind of favored Rory's side more. And so that led to Joe being like, well, fuck you too, essentially. And so they had a whole disagreement. This went on for, I think, like 6 weeks or so. Rory and Maul were not on the podcast. They had some talks behind closed doors. They ended up coming back for one episode, and then I guess it reignited again, and then they were absent from the podcast again. But it essentially all comes back down to the numbers and the percentages of the deal that they had on the podcast. Essentially, is what it's at least to my understanding what it's come down to. So.
Okay, so that was been going on. There's a lot of people talking about it. Kevin Hart's talking about it. There's a lot of bloggers that are talking about it. So that whole entire thing is a thing of its own, and it's an argument between grown men and their lawyers. So it happens. Sometimes I don't really have an opinion about that because I'm not a viewer of the show. I don't really, I've seen just episodes here and there. But the whole Olivia thing, this is what I'm going to say. And I'm going to actually step aside from this alleged situation and explain something to men about sexual harassment and also women. I have been sexually harassed in the workforce, in the workplace, workplace, I don't know, a lot of times. Recently, no, because of I am just so strong about boundaries and not crossing them. If you follow me on Instagram, if you follow my work, you know that I'm a comedian. And if you follow my podcast, I talk about sex a lot. I am not afraid to talk about sex, but I talk about it in a sense where it's funny, or I talk about it in an educational way. My show is for educational purposes, is not for anything besides that. So, upon dealing with that, and I'm talking about my podcast, not corporate America, because in corporate America I have been sexually harassed a lot. Is one of the reasons why I started my own business, to get away from that, because I've always been in male-dominated industries. When I was in automotive, it was horrific. I was put in places sometimes just to bring men in and buyers in, just because the way I look. They basically would tell me to shut up and look pretty. And I did it because I needed a paycheck. But then I got out of it. I was not the strong woman that I was years ago than I am now, I should say. So going forward to the podcast, I'm a comedian that talks about sex a lot, and I use it in a funny manner. And the reason why I do it is because I'm the type of comedian that doesn't like to pick on people, because I feel like it's bullying. And I don't know what you can say back to me that's really going to affect me. So I don't really feel like it's fair. So I do the whole sex thing because it is something easy that everyone can relate to, and it's a little bit taboo. And I want to show everyone that women talk about it and think about it too. Okay. I don't think there's a lot of other comedians that talk about sex. I don't think, and I'm talking about male comedians, I don't think they go to their DMs and talk about, and they'll see a woman, let's just say not, I'm not saying regular, but like a typical relationship between a male and a female. I don't think they get sexually harassed the way I do in their DMs, or, you know, across the internet when they're talking about sexual jokes. I don't think a woman's coming up to them to I want you to do it this way, flip you over. I bet you taste like this. I bet no. If you can't say what you're saying to my face and you say it in a DM, that is sexual harassment. If you send me a dick pic, that is sexual harassment. What would happen to you if you whipped your dick out in public and showed me? It's the same thing. So I don't understand where this line keeps getting crossed, because now we're not understanding what sexual harassment is. That doesn't make sense to me. If it's making someone uncomfortable, that's sexual harassment. It shouldn't be going on. And the thing is, everyone has a mother and they came from a woman. Do you want your woman, your niece, your daughter talked to like that? I don't understand where your mind is going at this moment. And it's not okay. It's not fine. And I don't put up with that shit anymore. Before, when I was timid, before the whole Me Too movement, I didn't feel comfortable saying anything, because there'd be situations where it's like, well, it's his word against my word. He's the owner of the company. Who's going to listen to me? But now that the Me Too movement has come, now there's women saying something. Women, we have a duty, and I'm not going to be nice about this. We have a duty to say something, to speak up. And if it's uncomfortable, we have to say something and bring attention to it. Now, it might be the most uncomfortable thing for us, because it's not fair. It's not fair to get stuck in a position that you never asked for. But we have a duty to speak up so we can stop this for our daughters, for the younger generation, because it needs to cease. And it blows my mind, because some of these men, like, you would think that they're just so much smarter than us. But the funny thing is too, when you have money, you can make things go away. You can dismiss stuff. So that's my little spiel on sexual harassment, because it just makes you feel so gross and just so like, what were you doing this whole entire time? Now I don't trust you at all, because it's a thought process that happened. How long were you thinking about this? And it's not cute. There's never been a time where I've opened up a DM or some guy's whispered in my ear about how he wants to, do stuff to me. And I'm like, oh my God, it's so cute. Never. There's never been a time. It's disgusting. It's gross, and the behavior needs to stop. So that's my little morning talk about it. Okay, moving along.
There you go.
Moving along, we are going to talk about the WNBA. Back to you, Paul, about the WNBA, because once again, I was on set all day yesterday. I didn't really get to see it, and I was preparing for the movie on Saturday, so I was kind of off.
Well, lot of good action over the weekend. I know my favorite player, Diana Taurasi, year 17, still is playing at an incredibly high level. Hit the game-winning shot the other day. I'm pretty sure she's on pace to. She's already the all-time leading scorer in WNBA history. She's on pace to be the first and only player to score 10,000 career points. I would imagine she'll probably hit that next season if she decides to come back, which there's no indication that she's not going to, or that she's not going to retire this year. So I imagine she'll be back. So they're a strong contender early on to potentially win the championship. My dark horse pick is probably going to be the Las Vegas Aces. They've got Liz Cambage back, Kelsey Plummer's back off the torn Achilles. They made the finals last year. Without them, they were unsuccessful in winning it, but having them two back is going to do nothing but help. Seattle still going to be tough as nails. Brianna Stewart and Sue Bird still playing at a high level. So those are three teams I think are going to make a good push to potentially win it all this year.
Very nice. I love it. And we just have to support women's sports. There's a lot of talent in women's sports. A lot of talent. So support it, and support it. Basically. Awesome. I saw J.Cole. I was watching clips of J.Cole. I think that's so cool. I honestly, I really think. How old is he? Do you know? Is he in his 20s or 30s?
35, I want to say.
Oh, really? That's beautiful.
I want to say 35.
I love it. See, I love that. There's so many times that as I grew up, I'm an 80s baby. I barely made it, but I made it.
I'm right there with you. I was alive in the 80s for 20 days. That was it.
So growing up, it's like you die. Like it's like they killed you off after a certain age in your 20s. So I love the fact that people are still doing stuff and still feeling alive as life goes on, because you're still youthful in your 30s. You're still youthful in your 40s if you think about it. Like, so 50s, so I think it's beautiful, and I'm very happy. Yeah, I watched some of it, and it was nice. It was nice. It was different. HOF. I'm not going to lie. I didn't watch the whole thing, the Hall of Fame. For people that don't know what I'm talking about. It was just too emotional for me. So I did watch Vanessa Bryant. That woman right there. I can't even. That woman is just
ridiculously strong.
I'm getting chills right now. Like, I don't even have words to say for her. I can't even look in the camera right now because I'm tearing up. But I just watched clips. I didn't watch everything. I just couldn't emotionally handle it. But how was it? How was the HOF?
It was pretty much kind of what you'd expect. It was extremely heavy in a sense, but it was also it just had this triumphant feel to it. Like you felt it was heavy, but you still felt good about it. Like, almost like they say, referring to funerals, it's not a funeral, it's a celebration. That's what this felt like. So even though it was the atmosphere was a little heavy, it still felt, I was in a really good headspace watching this.
Nice. I raced home on Saturday to go watch it, and then I was like, oh, I can't do this. I was like, I can't, especially because the following day I was playing a very heavy role in a movie, and I had to cry on cue and all this other stuff. So I was just like, let me just try to like bury my emotions and not get like so hovered into them. But yeah, it was it's that woman right there. I have no words for her. No words. All right. That's Monday's news. Monday's news. Wow. The rest of the week is going to be better because that's some heavy stuff we just talked about. A lot of heaviness. Let's go to I'm feeling it. I'm getting ready for it. What? I'm getting ready for it. I am. Sorry, I think my mic is making noise. It's this week, isn't it? The 17th. It's Gemini season. Gemini season. Ooh, It's coming up. Gemini's usually, if you believe in this kind of stuff, I think it's funny. We usually go a little crazy during Gemini season. I remember last year, I was like, I do this thing. It's really weird because I don't really care about my age. I'll tell you my age. That's one thing I don't lie about. That didn't sound right because now I sound like I'm a liar. I'm not a liar, but I don't lie about my age. I don't really care. So last year, I did this weird thing, but it was also COVID. I get really happy, and then all of a sudden I get like a little like, I don't know, like I wouldn't say depressed, but I start thinking about stuff. So I started going through this like spiral thing with my mind or whatever. And someone explained it. He's like, "You're a Gemini in the middle of Gemini season." Duh. I was like, "Oh, is that it? That's what I do." But anyhow, have you ever dated a Gemini? Because I was on set and they were like breaking down horoscopes, which is funny. Not horoscopes, but signs, whatever. And they're like, "Yeah, because you're a Gemini." And I was like, "Shut up." But have you ever dated a Gemini?
I would say so. Yeah.
Wait, did you date a Gemini or did you not?
Dating, yes. Dating, yes. I have dated a Gemini before. It never got to the full-on relationship stage, but I have dated a Gemini.
And what would you say? Because a lot of people talk a lot of smack about us, but what would you? How was it on a scale from 1 to 10? How was it?
Have you heard the track by Vivian Green, "Emotional Roller Coaster"?
But why? What I want to know? Okay, this is what I want to do. I want to know what you think we do, and then I can explain us.
Well, I'll speak to my my experience. In my experience, there was just a lot of mixed signals. 1 minute it's "I really like you," then the next minute it's almost like "You annoy the shit out of me, didn't do anything, but you still annoy me." And then the next day it's right back to "Hey, I miss you," this and that. I'm just like, I need I need more context behind this shit. It's crazy. It's definitely an experience. That's what I can say.
My explanation is this, because this is something I have heard that I allegedly do. The thing is that it goes from being rational to like romanticizing stuff in a relationship. So sometimes things will happen. I'll take a situation. I was dating this guy, whatever, and he doesn't really live in California, but he does live in California, if that makes sense. So he's like, "Oh, it'll work out. We'll just, I'll just fly you out." In my mind, I'm like, "It's COVID. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. So this is going nowhere." So then that's why the next day I was like, "I don't care." Well, it wasn't that I didn't care. It was that I was trying to build up my resistance to the fact that I actually liked him and I knew it wasn't going to work out. Does that make sense? So it's basically the battle between rationality and being romantic. Because at the end of the day, I can analyze a situation really quick and I can tell if you're for me or not. But then it's like, well, is that true? Like, should I just test the water? So it doesn't really have anything to do with the like liking you or not liking you. It's just basically we like you, but it doesn't feel like it's going to work out with you. With you. I'm just trying to save you some time, to be honest. But like my emotional roller coasters.
I do. We have had plenty of conversations. I know.
But that's what it is. It's like, I don't think it's going to work. Like, I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time. But then at the end of the day, it's just like, but I miss you.
Oh, I know.
So let's waste some time together.
And And I can tell you why it can be extremely frustrating at times dealing with that is because Geminis have very infectious personalities. It's hard to ignore y'all. Even when you piss us off, it's hard to be like, I'm not talking about her. What she said.
Oh, you're talking.
It is. It's hard. It's extremely hard.
I'll tell you, I've dated a Gemini. That shit ain't never going to happen again. Okay, so I've probably talked, and the thing is, I get along with Geminis fine. Like, I get along with Geminis fine. Gemini men, Gemini women, Geminis in May, Geminis in June. The Cancer Geminis are the ones that give the Geminis a bad rep. Those fuckers are evil. I be sitting there watching them, just like, you really doing that? But then I do it on a lower level. Hey, right, God fixed her. But anyhow, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So what happened was this one Gemini that I was dating, and his birthday was a little bit after my birthday, whatever, if that matters, because some people they actually like to know what part of the month. And he was supposed to be the nice guy. He's, a tech owner, all this other stuff or whatever, right? He said some crap to me that I didn't like. Very disrespectful, extremely disrespectful. And that's another thing too. Like, I will catch disrespect, and one of my things, like, don't treat me like I'm stupid. You should know that I'm very intelligent. So if I say something, just listen to what I have to say. So he said something to me that just kind of demoralized what I was doing and everything like that goes with that. So I was like, okay, bet. Then he did it again. And I was like, okay, bet.
I don't know what that means.
So I spent maybe, and it ain't right, but this is something that, I don't even, but like the thing he said was very condescending, so he deserved it. So I pretended to, I'm so open. I pretended to keep on talking and dating him for like 3 or 4 months. And then he flew himself out to come see me. And nobody told him to do this. I never said to fly yourself out. I just know one day he was like, I'm going to be there tomorrow and I'm going to see you tomorrow. And I'm just like, okay, nobody told you to do this shit. I never said to you for you to do this. So he flew himself out. Then he wanted me to like spend all this time with him. I was like, I don't got time for you. I got like an hour. Spent like an hour with him. And then at the end of the day, I just sent like, bye. Never saw him again. And then right shortly after that, I sent him a text or something. Oh, he is blocked. I don't even remember his name, to be honest with you. I sent him a text and I said, you're disgusting. I did not appreciate the way you talked to me. You are a man of a certain age. He's in his 40s. And you are just sitting there on Instagram liking 20-year-old pictures. I find that so freaking disgusting and foul. You pervert. I went off, right? This is why I don't date Geminis. I'm not right, guys. I don't do this stuff anymore. I just want people to know that I come from a place that you might have come from, or maybe the F boy in your life has come from. So I'm trying to bring some commonality in this. But yeah, and then there's another Gemini. He made some story up in his head that he was like going to see me or something, and I made sure that I don't know. Geminis are weird. Geminis are weird. I don't recommend. Don't recommend.
I can't.
Just stay away from them. They're not right. It's like this whole like plan, but the ones that I have noticed that have the worst revenge plots are Scorpios. Scorpios are like the ones with the worst revenge, like planning things out for your future that you didn't even know about. But yeah, that's my little story. Hope you guys are entertained by it, but he deserved it. He said some really like just things to me that was just not right. And I asked him, I said, don't do this again. And he did it again. So I had to, you know. But yeah. All right, you got anything else to say after that?
I really don't. I think that is the perfect way to end this.
All right. Well, my name is Anna Lefebvre. Enter at your own risk.
I can't.
I come with a disclaimer. I already tell you, there is a